Hello and welcome to Talking Good Games. Just finished Leicester City 0, West Ham United 2 as West Ham virtually, not quite mathematically yet, we still need to wait for the Southampton game, we're virtually guaranteed Premier League safety for at least one more season. Gonzo, first 15 minutes, we were looking good. Lanzini had a couple of half chances.
Yeah, Lanzini was involved, Mario was involved, Arthur was running down the wing and trying to put over some crosses as well. The players seemed closer, a lot closer to Arnautovic as well. But they were almost a mirror image. I thought Leicester were a mirror image of us. They looked like us. They weren't interested. And all the rumours that we'd heard about Leicester, how they're down tools ready for the summer, appeared to be true. And they literally waved us through, and yeah, we started with real intent and had to go.
Mike, while we didn't take advantage in the first 15 minutes, we didn't have to wait too long after because Mario made it 1-0, a deserved 1-0 lead. Ball coming from Masuaku, and Arnautovic does well to get back into the box, and Mario just smashes it home from 6 yards.
Yeah, I thought it was definitely deserved. We were by far the better team in the opening part of the game. In fact, we were far the better team pretty much all the way through. Leicester really did nothing at all for me. They reminded, you're absolutely right, reminded me of us. Like we were playing in the last few games we played. Do you know what I mean? They offered very, very little going forward, very little in midfield, and they even looked shaky at the back.
Gonzo, Mario, he was included in the team, sort of between him and Carroll probably. So there was a big focus on him, if you like. It was a big game for him, but this is the type of game where he manages to play well in.
Well, it was just as well because for once we managed to find a team that weren't really contested midfield. We then had to have possession, which you don't normally have possession. I just felt with Mario and Lanzini, and it really helped that we had a couple of technical players and we could keep the ball. I just wonder what the keeper was doing for their goal though, because as he shot, he sort of scuffed it onto the floor, Mario, for his goal. The goalkeeper was complaining. I mean, I need to see it again, but I don't think the keeper made an attempt to save it. I think he was complaining about offside for Arnautovic or something. He literally made no attempt to save it at all. But anyway, yeah, I thought Mario, it was a good decision to play him, certainly.
I think he was complaining for a foul against Arnautovic. I think he thought Arnautovic fouled defender. I thought we played near enough superb in the first 50 minutes. I didn't think we put a foot wrong. We were just lacking that. I thought we kept putting in a lot of crosses when there was no one in the box. I thought, well, this is a little bit... At that point, you were thinking maybe Carroll should have started then if all we're going to do is keep whipping it in. And then eventually Arnautovic stopped coming short and stayed in the box, and then the ball come to him for the goal. But I thought Mario and Lanzini were superb in the first half generally, especially Lanzini. The touches he does, just what normally takes our players 2 or 3 touches to do a pass, takes Lanzini's first touch. He just does it. And the trust between them three, Mario, Lanzini and Arnautovic, it's what I like to see. They're 3-4 yards away from each other, but they're happy to do the 1-2s and stuff. And not every player in our team can do that, but they've got the ability, but they've also got the trust, which is a completely different thing. And it was quite strange to see us have the confidence, despite our recent results, if you like. I think we turned up with no fear today. I think it showed in the first half. However, in the second half, you could argue, Mike, that the fear did start to creep in a little bit as we sat back, and in the 48th minute, is Aaron Creswell a lucky boy? He covers Declan Rice really well, and it looks like he's a way to do a simple back pass, sort of messes it up. Vardy's in, and he jumps down looking for a free kick and lies on the ball. Is this a red card, or has the referee got it right?
I think the referee's probably got it right. I mean, there is a hand in his back from Vardy, isn't there, to some point. It was outside the box, undoubtedly, when he caught the ball. Ultimately, he's completely messed up. And if you notice, right from that minute on, Cresswell was as shaky as hell for the rest of the game, wasn't he? I mean, he really shook him. You could see his confidence went after that. But he is, I mean, some refs would have given that. I've noticed that right away through the game. Arnautovic in the first half got quite a lot of fouls against him, didn't he? He was getting a lot of knees in the back, etc. And the ref wasn't giving anything. And so the ref was keeping the cards in his pocket all the way through. So I think he took a bit of a calculated gamble at that point that he was probably just get a yellow. But he shouldn't have been in that position. He should have just laid it back straight away. What was he thinking?
Gonzo, what about yourself? Is that a red card for you? I'd imagine there's maybe a few Leicester fans perhaps thinking that should have been a red card.
No, funny enough, the Leicester City fans, that seemed to spur them into action. And the team, once that happened, it's almost as if they needed that incident, a bit of controversy to get their teeth into it and to get a bit knocked off. But it wasn't a goal-scoring opportunity, but it was ridiculous play. by Cresswell. He had two choices: either play it back to the goalkeeper or clear it out into touch, and he chose a third one somehow. And Mike was right; he did. He sort of slightly had his hand on him, but not enough to make him go over. It'd be ridiculous if we all carried on like that in real life. You know, just every time someone touched someone, you take a dive. Imagine going to the boozer, or excuse me, mate, everyone's sort of diving over all the time. Footballers, I just don't know what they do. And he played for it, and that's why he grabbed it. He was trying to pretend that he had been fouled, and he grabbed it to stop play. But it's fooling nobody because everyone knows there wasn't enough pressure to push him over anyway. So he was a lucky boy, but it could have been worse. It wasn't a goal-scoring opportunity per se, but Vardy is certainly quick enough to have made more out of it than most players.
I think it is a relative goal-scoring opportunity because Vardy's coming in on his right foot from the corner of the box. But I don't think if that was in the middle of the pitch, I would argue that's a red card. But because it's a side, I think he got off there a bit. It would have took a ref with a big set of balls to send someone off for doing that. I think Creswell's messed up. He's took a gamble and he's got off with it a little bit because you could argue if he just let Vardy go, then it could have been 1-1 pretty quickly. I think he's underestimated just how fast Vardy is a little bit and the fact that Vardy just doesn't give up. That's not the type of player he is. But 64 minutes, well, the awards got done last week, so he's not going to win goal of the season. Well done, West Ham. But you've got contender for goal of the season here, Gonzo. Poor free kick, gets headed out. Martin Noble, volley, inch perfect, millimetre perfect. That good that when you see the replay, you can see Arnautovic and Chiatti putting their hands on their head thinking, what the hell has just happened here? I mean, what a goal.
Absolute scorcher, pure technique. The commentator for him, I was watching, he said that was stiff and straight, and I probably would have chosen different words myself, but it was beautiful. It really connected cleanly, and the camera was sort of right behind it, wasn't it, as well? So you did get it in that wonderful angle of watching it fly into the bottom corner, very low. Maybe the keeper could have done more for the first goal. He could do nothing about that. It will go down as one of Mark Noble's finest goals, and perfectly timed because they had, even though they didn't have a shot on target until the 87th minute or whatever it was, they were coming more into it then. It's almost like we had started to sit back and we'd conceded a little bit of the impetus to them. And so it was actually perfectly timed because it took the pressure straight off us. And then there was, there was a bit of relief then, wasn't there?
Mike, big game, special goal.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? He really stepped up today. I thought all over the pitch, Mark Noble was very good. Actually, he was dealing with their midfield, making them look very insignificant, wasn't he? And but yeah, what great technique, wasn't it? I mean, the way that if you watch it, just bends in at the last minute as well, just off the inside of the post into the corner. Absolute beauty, and almost too good a goal for the game, you could say almost. Do you know what I mean? But a real beauty of a goal. And a great way to seal the win.
It's the right player to score that goal as well. If you want anyone to score that goal, it's probably him. The funny thing is, I see Martin Noble do that as a pass pretty much every second game. Every second game at some point, he will do a pass, that kind of volley, just out to the wing or something. And it goes completely unnoticed. So I'm kind of glad that he's got the goal because now people recognise that he is actually quite good at these kind of things. He is good at this volley technique he does with his side foot. For those who don't believe me, I still remember one game in mind. It was Arsenal at home at Upton Park. I remember, for some reason, I remember he just 30 foot dropped out there and he just volleyed out to the left wing perfectly. First time, unbelievable. But that goal was special. And then 74 minutes, Lanzini went off for Andy Carroll despite Marko Arnautovic lying on the floor. And then a Leicester fan decided to come on the pitch, and credit to Martin Noble for restraining himself and not throwing him about. And also Leicester City stewards managed to react quite well, despite not having football boots or goggles on. Then Fernandes did come on for the absolute knackered Marko Arnautovic, and the game pretty much went out to 2-0. Mike, fun in the sun. Everything went well today. Everything went right.
It did. It was helped by Leicester being very poor. So let's get that out of the way. I thought we played really well, though. We kept the ball well, which is something we haven't been doing for a long time. As you say, that little trio of Arnautovic, Lanzini and Jean-Mario really trust each other. And also, I think you said in other shows before, is their ability to read those little flicks and little passes in behind. And they read each other so well. And I think going on, from what you said earlier, despite our recent form, they believe in themselves, regardless of the quality of the team. They believe in themselves to be able to do that. And that, I think, is where that win has come from. Don't forget as well, Arnautovic hit the crossbar, didn't he, with a superb smack shot. which I thought were absolutely brilliant piece of skill for doing that as well. And I think 86th minute it was when Leicester had their first shot goal. Part of that is to do with our defence. I thought we did play well at the back, despite Creswell's attempts to throw it all the way. But yeah, it was a great win for us today, an important one as well.
Gonzo, in the preview, we described this as the perfect opponents. I think it's fair to say we were right. They didn't care, didn't turn up. Their fans, I wouldn't say they enjoyed getting beat, but they certainly made their feelings known, if you like.
Yeah, I'm with them on this. I think it's disgusting. I think the way we've discussed it numerous times, the way footballers down tools, is a disgrace for somebody as talented as Mahrez to play the way he did. It's disgusting. For someone as fast as Vardy not to press those centre-backs as much as he did. Obviously, it's done now. We've won and we take the points, and I can look at it with neutral glasses if you want. And I just really wonder what a lot of these players are up to for the amount of money that they get, and they've now decided they don't like the manager. So that's that. But it was very, very reminiscent of us. I just feel fortunate because I think Moyes again was quite scathing with Lanzini when he took him off last time. He said Lanzini gave the pass for the goal, which he did, by the way. So Lanzini could have responded in a number of ways, just as Carroll could have responded in a number of ways when he came on. And he could have sulked. He could have sulked, and I'll show you, Moyes. You know what I mean? I'll do nothing. I'll get a transfer away. But he didn't. He showed him in the right way, and he showed him in the positive way. So I was pleased that, at least in some of our players, they showed a better attitude than the Leicester players did, certainly.
The three of us on here have been critical of the manager, Gonzo. Is it a case of credit where credit is due today to David Moyes?
Yeah, you have to. He got it right, and I don't want to criticise him at all. We'll deal with a bigger picture in other shows, but today he got the tactics right. He absolutely did. And as I say, the squad could have crumbled. And you have to look at it. Actually, let's give him a bit of credit for that. Maybe that was the right man management for Lanzini. Maybe that was the right man management for Carroll. And also look at the way Rice played today as well. It didn't look like a player who'd recently had a mistake. He's very assured. And good job today. Good job.
Mike, David Moyes won. Who 0?
Yeah, Leicester, as we've already said, just did not turn up, did they? I think Moyes, it's hard to say for me that Moyes got it right when Moyes did what he has been doing for pretty much every game. He's played in exactly the same way. Okay, played Lanzini and Jean-Maro together, which I think we all wanted. But, I mean, it wasn't... I think... It's one thing to say, oh, yeah, his man management might have worked. I think there are some quite big characters in our dressing room, and I think they have pulled themselves together rather than Moyes has pulled them together. But I'm not trying to take credit away from him. We have won a game at last of football, so well done to him for that. But I'm not overflowing with confidence that it was all Moyes' work, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, there was no tactical genius attached to the game. He didn't come up with a master plan that somehow shocked everybody. I think we all knew what to expect, but there was no pressure on Leicester today. All the pressure was on us. It helped us Stoke getting beat earlier. That probably took the pressure off us a little bit, but there was still an immense lot of pressures, particularly with Southampton not playing until later. It was a case of, well, if we got beat today, that's all the motivation. Swansea got beat. That's all the motivation Southampton need going into their game later tonight. So the pressure was on us. The pressure was on David Moyes. They've stood up to it today. The players and the manager have stood up to it. But Gonzo, player time. I don't think you're going to criticise any today. So is there any one or two players you would like to pick out?
Those that I've mentioned. I'm sure the defence will be pleased with a clean sheet. Obviously today. I do think we've covered the ones that played well. I do think Lanzini played very well. I do think he was the difference. I do wonder sometimes when people are very free and easy in the way that they speak about him. Oh, look, we get rid of him and stuff like that. I think people don't realise quite how much we need players like that. And if we did get rid of him, we're not going to be able to sign someone like that that's just going to come straight away into West Ham and start playing well, because he's quite athletic and he runs around a lot as well. So I'd like to praise him. A lot of Nautovic, even though again he ploughs a lonely furrow up front, doesn't he? But he tried his best, although he wasn't on his A game. As Mike said, that volley was absolutely lovely. Masuaku tried. I think particularly in the first half he tried. We've mentioned Jean-Mario as well. Ogbonna was his normal self, although he wasn't tested hugely. And yeah. I mean, you can't say about the goalkeeper, they barely had a shot, did they?
Mike, player time, anyone you'd like to pick out for good or bad points?
I would actually praise the goalkeeper, actually, Gonzo. I'll tell you why. Because he dominated the box for every cross, especially in the second half when they had a lot more of the ball. Adrian did, in exactly the way that Joe Hart doesn't. He came for everything, got everything, did everything he needs to do. And while you can say, okay, basically didn't have a shot to the 86th minute, they might have done if he hadn't have done that, if you know what I mean. And it gave the defence, I think, quite a lot of confidence, him doing that. If you look, we played quite well as 20 young. As you say, Rice had a good game. Oh, Bonner, I also thought, had a very good game. For me, if we're leaving out who I think man of the matches, I think Lanzini was great. He's clearly got an injury. Did you see he had an ice pack on his knee when he was on the bench when he came off? Arnie was great as well. Matsuaku, I thought, was really terrific in the first half. Did you notice how every single attack we did was down the left, by the way? We are completely lopsided. Nothing went down the right at all. Yeah, I'd agree otherwise.
Just near enough 50% of our attacks went down our left in today's game. 25, near enough 25 for the middle and 25 for the right-hand side. So, but it was the same was said for Leicester. Half their attacks came down their left as well. I thought Adrian did well for the reasons you said, but also his distribution. There was a couple of times he caught it and he threw it straight out really quickly, which is something I hate. I hate seeing our keepers just stand there and hold the ball, and then you've got players like Masuaku who do have pace running, and your keepers just stand there, and you're like, well, throw it to him. I mean, there was a couple of times Adrian threw it out, and 10 seconds later he was back at his feet. That was a bit, but I thought Masuaku was brilliant. This is what we miss when he doesn't play. Someone that can get the ball inside our half and take it up to their half. And even if it just goes out for a throw and it's fine, it moves your whole team up the pitch. And against City, that's exactly what we were lacking. We just didn't have anyone that could carry the ball. And that's what Masuaku does. I still think his crossing's getting better new enough every game. There was one today, he did it pinpoint to Arnautovic. That was the one when he booted in the crowd. He was offside. But it was exactly how Arnautovic wants it, into his feet. He drops out the sky into his feet. Then his cross led to the goal again. So even if he only does 2 deliveries a game, I challenge you to find a left back in the league that's going to do game-changing crosses more than twice a game. So that's worth it for me. I thought he was brilliant. I thought the defence was okay today. They didn't do anything wrong. I just don't think they were tested. I think they had a relatively straightforward 90 minutes. I thought Creswell, as Mike said, looked poor after his booking. There was a couple of times at one point Masuaku left it for him to clear and Creswell dithered on it in middle 18-yarder. A better team, a better striker would have been in there and got that ball off him. So he maybe got off that bit. But all in all, a good performance. Gonzo, is there any final words from yourself and your man of match, please?
Yeah, I mean, it's you know, it's not party time. Do you know what I mean? I don't feel like celebrating. Do you know what I mean? I feel like
relief time.
Yeah, I've football constipation. I've just had a massive dump. I'm not. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to go and pop the bubbly just because of it. Do you know what I mean? I'm just relieved. Let's say so. For one, have a better analogy, of course. But yeah, I think that's the thing. I am hugely relieved, but it's going to be interesting to look over the next little while about where that leaves us, because now, of course, our thoughts have to turn towards next season. And it sounds terrible. I'm almost just relieved it's over, and that's it. No high fives, no champers. Just thank goodness for that. A man of the match, Mark Noble, controlled a midfield. Well, you know, they didn't contest a lot, but he still had to get the grip of it, and he did, and he passed it around, and a lot of the time he was giving the ball to Mario, he was giving the ball to Lanzini. He was making it so as they couldn't get into the game. I can't remember, Chowdhury, was that the guy's name? Yeah, a few times he was absolutely, he was right in amongst him. I'm very, very impressed with that as well. He managed to niggle Mahrez a couple of times we got to him, which maybe helped put him off his game, I don't know. And then, of course, the rest we know. The timing of that magnificent strike was key. I really felt at that point they were about to come back into the game, because Moyes had reverted to type, and that's also we wouldn't do that. But we dropped deep. We were starting to defend the one goal, and I thought that game and the timing of it, the technique was perfect. And for that, if ever there was a goal that kept us safe, I think you'll probably maybe look back and think that was the one. So man of the match for Mark Noble for me today.
Today reminded me a bit of the Southampton game. The opponents were poor. They didn't turn up, but you can only beat what's in front of you. And over the 2 games, won 5-0 on aggregate. So it's job done comfortably. Aaron Creswell is probably now ahead of Joe Hart in the pecking order for goalkeeper after the way he handled the ball early on in the match as well. But I thought there's no complaints there. We did well. Like you said, it's more relief than anything. No pop in the champers, as you say. I think that's a fair assessment of the game. Mike, what's your final thoughts, and give us your man of the match? I'll give you mine in a second.
I think that's probably kept us up, that win. With Swansea losing, and they've got to play Southampton, so they can't both win that. That'll probably do it. So yeah, I agree with you actually on the whole, that sense of relief. It's like, you know, we have that bit in every film where they have a bit that builds the tension, even though, you know, it's going to end at the end well, and you just have that feeling, oh, we've gone through now we can get on with the end of it. It's a bit of a shame for the whole season that we've all got season tickets and spent a lot of money on them, etc. And this is it. It's been a dreadful season. We're glad to see the back of it. Gonzo said everything I was going to say, really, because about Mark Noble, I completely agree with him. He is my man of the match, and thanks for saying everything I was going to say, Gonzo. Much appreciated.
Well, to be fair, Mike, I can see you've got more things planned for Mike on Monday, because I can see you've got your tactics centre, you've got your little Lego house behind you for all the little little Sputio guys and that. So you can analyse it a little bit more, can't you, for Monday?
As for them on their holiday.
No.
My man of the match is going to go to our little gem, Lanzini. While he didn't make a game-changing impact, I thought he had a massive influence in the game. I thought when he come off, our counter-attacking threat disappeared immediately. But that looks like another Premier League season for West Ham. 12 Hugos in the bank. Now we've achieved Premier League safety. 2-0 West Ham today against a poor Leicester side. We'll be back. We've got our preview against Man United coming up in the next couple of days, since we're playing on Thursday. And then we'll have our preview for the Everton game on Friday with a very special guest. He comes on when there's a special game, so you could probably work out. He's a favourite of the channel. But drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Drop your comments below with your man of matches. Them two are saying no, well, I'm saying Manuel Lanzini. That's West Ham in Premier League for another season. Subscribe to the channel, because we'll be bringing you Premier League football next year.